2025 was an insane year in the Omaha real estate market. In spite of all of the doom and gloom online, sales were up, prices were up, inventory was up, and interest rates trended downward. Buyers had more opportunity, and we saw a more normal real estate market in the Omaha area. Yet more buyers were shut out of the real estate market because of the lack of affordability. 2026 is just around the corner. What's in store for the Omaha real estate market for 2026? It will be an election year, and soon President Trump will appoint a new chairman of the Federal Reserve. New ideas are being tossed about, like making mortgages portable, erasing some of the credit requirements, and there's talk of a 50-year mortgage. What impact will this have, if any, on the Omaha real estate market? What will we see in the local job market? What about interest rates? Will rates trend lower, or will rates remain elevated? Finally, what about inflation? Will we see inflation trend hotter, or will we finally see some cooling of the inflation rate? In today's video, I'll make some predictions about the Omaha real estate market. For those new to my channel, my name is David Matney, and I'm a local realtor, and I make videos all about living in the great city of Omaha, Nebraska. For over 20 years, I've been helping families buy and sell real estate with hundreds of successful transactions. And with that, let's dive into today's topic. First, let's be clear about predictions and what you hear on YouTube. Nobody has a crystal ball, and you should never make any financial decisions based on what you hear on YouTube. Truth is, nobody can predict the future. These predictions are just for fun. When is the best time to buy? Spoiler alert, when you are ready and when it makes financial sense for your family. Not everybody should buy a home. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. You have to understand something about YouTube. The goal of YouTube is to keep you on platform. The longer they keep you on platform, the more advertising they can sell. When something is free, you are the product. This is important. There is a negativity bias on YouTube. Same thing applies to the media. Just because someone has a camera and a microphone doesn't make them Milton Friedman. Remember, YouTube does not promote a video based on the actual content. They promote a video based on watch time. The longer people watch, the more advertising they can sell. Bad news sells. People gravitate toward bad news. A video about the market crashing is going to get 10 times the viewership than a video saying the market is not crashing. Is it more challenging to buy a home right now? Yes. But that doesn't mean that in order to buy a home, the market has to crash. There are plenty of people out there buying homes. The market doesn't care about your feelings. The people who are buying homes in today's market are older and more prepared. Affordability is a challenge in today's market. Fortunately, we are in Omaha. We have a very stable economy, a great quality of life, plenty of new construction, and our cost of living is well below the national average. The market we are in is a normal market. A few years back, we had the COVID market. We had a deadly mix of high demand and low supply. During the COVID market, buyers were not getting their first choice of homes. Back then, some buyers made offers on 5 or 6 different properties before getting their offer accepted. In order to get an offer accepted, many buyers had to waive inspections, appraisals, and make offers well above listing price. This led to a runaway housing market. A market where prices appreciated 10 to 15% a year is not healthy. You had to slow down demand for prices to stabilize. When a home goes on the market and gets 15, 20 offers and sells $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 over list price, that is not a healthy market. This market led to a spike in inflation. We saw inflation rates we have not seen in 50 years. In order to curb inflation and put the brakes on the housing market, we had to kill demand. This was done with interest rates. Interest rates went up, and they went up fast. This killed demand, and the number of sales plummeted. We had a sales crash, not a price crash. This was different from 2008 during the great financial crisis. Now we are slowly working our way out of the situation. Rates are up, inventory went up, and this had to happen in order for the market to stabilize. It is going to take years to work our way through all of this. Do buyers like it when they're priced out of the market? Nope. Do agents like to see depressed sales? No. Unfortunately, sometimes the only fix is time. Is there an affordability crisis? Yes, in order to correct the inventory crisis from a few years ago, we had to jack up rates so high to crush demand. It all boils down to supply and demand. Unfortunately, it is going to take time. It's going to take years. This is not something you can flip a switch to correct. We need time for wages to increase. We need time to add more inventory, and you're going to see builders adjust. As prices increase, builders will adjust to the market. Builders will build a smaller home in order to increase sales and make more money. And we're already seeing that take place in the market. If you look at home prices over the past 10 years, new construction is in green and existing homes are in red. This is looking at the 12-month rolling average. And you can see that new construction prices peaked a few years ago, then backed off a little bit in price. When the prices dipped for new construction, that meant builders were building a smaller, more affordable home to adjust to the market. As with anything, this too shall pass. Nobody likes to wait. We live in a drive-through society, and people want an instantaneous fix. This might make some people mad, but we're not going to be able to fix this with an artificial fix just to make people feel better about affordability. For example, a 50-year mortgage is not a fix. Removing credit scores for qualifying is not a good idea either. Giving buyers $25,000 cash for a down payment is not a fix either. In fact, all of these ideas sound good, but these ideas are actually increasing demand and the exact opposite of what needs to happen. If you want affordability in the housing market, you need a thriving economy. Let's talk about tariffs. I'm not a fan of tariffs. Tariffs are inflationary. When you impose tariffs on Canadian lumber, it costs more to build, and that cost gets passed on to the consumer. For example, last year, back in April, when the tariffs were announced, that day, one of our local builders raised all of their prices $3,000. Builders are not going to take that hit. They're going to pass that along to the consumer. Demand has slowed. How bad has demand slowed? A lot. Every year, the National Association of Realtors publishes a comprehensive report on the profile of buyers and sellers. Last year, and this is shocking, the median age of the first-time home buyer was at an all-time high of 40 years old. Last year, the median age was 38. What is happening is buyers still want to buy, but in order to buy, they have to have even more savings and they have to have even more income. And it's going to take buyers longer to save that money. And that means an older buyer. The median age of the repeat buyer was 62. And here's another sad record-setting statistic. First-time home buyers made up only 21% of all buyers in the marketplace. 20 years ago, first-time buyers made up close to 40% of the market. However, I have a theory. I think many of these older buyers are actually the parents who are stepping in and buying the home for their kids. Now, that's great if you have parents that have the means to do so. But if your parents are not well off, then you're on the sidelines waiting. You're also seeing a shift in the household composition. 76% of all buyers had no children at home. And that makes sense when the median age is 40 years old. Only 24% of home buyers had children at home under the age of 18. Now that makes sense because daycare costs are sky high, food prices are sky high. Unfortunately, many young families with kids struggle just to make ends meet, let alone buy a home. I think you're seeing that frustration play out in the ballot box as more and more progressive candidates are winning local elections. Understand that even though some folks are shut out of the housing market, it doesn't mean there's no buyers out there. Buyers are in the market and homes are being sold. Where do I see the Omaha market in terms of inventory? Overall, I think you'll continue to see inventory increase. The increase will be from the existing market. The new construction inventory will continue around current levels. Builders are not going to build a home unless there is a buyer for that home. The worst thing a builder wants is a newly built home sitting vacant. That costs the builder money, and builders are not a charity. They build homes in order to make a profit, and they do that by making sure they don't have excessive inventory sitting vacant on the market. Most builders only begin building once they have a buyer under contract. The existing market is a different story. I think inventory will increase because interest rates will trend lower, and this will cause more sellers to enter the marketplace. When the economy begins to sputter, interest rates tend to go down. I think you're going to find more and more sellers who are tired of waiting for rates to go down. More sellers will then decide to enter the marketplace. That's good. I think you'll find an increase in the existing inventory in 2026 in the Omaha market. This is a graph of new versus existing on a 12-month rolling average when you're looking at inventory in the Omaha area region. I think what you're going to see is an increase in inventory on the existing side of around 15%. Because you're going to see an inventory increase, I think some of those sellers are going to be buyers. So I think you're going to see new construction inventory tick up a little bit to maybe between 2 and 3%. What about home prices? Again, you're looking at a 12-month rolling average for the Omaha area region. We'll separate new and existing. In the new construction market, I think you'll see prices remain relatively flat. If we do see prices increase in the new construction market, it'll be very small, maybe only between 0 and 1% in terms of price. I think you're going to see a little bit less talk of tariffs. It'll be an election year. I think President Trump will be forced to abandon all of the tariff talk in order to lower prices. I think you'll see builders adjust to the market. You might see a little shrinkflation. It is not that the new home prices are going down. I think what you're going to see builders building a smaller home. On the existing side, I think you'll see a 3 to 3.5% increase in home prices on the existing side of the market. Will we see prices crash? No, I don't believe we'll see home prices decline in the Omaha area market. Does that mean other markets won't see price declines? Some markets may see price declines. That's not unusual. Do I see prices nationally going down? No, I think you'll see a very weak price increase somewhere around 2% nationally. That's just a wild guess on my part. A year from now, we'll see if I was right. Let's say home prices do go down. Even if they do, that's okay. If you buy real estate, you have to be able to play the long game. If you currently own a home or would like to know the value of your home, click on my free home valuation tool called HomeBot. You'll receive a monthly home valuation free of charge in the email every month. It's really neat. It's fun to watch. And all you got to do is click on that QR code you see on the screen. We have lots of growth in the city, lots of development. We just passed the 1 million mark in population for the Omaha Metro. What will the Omaha real estate market be like in 2026? It'll be similar to this year. It'll be a normal market with the increase in the number of sales. Now let's talk about the number of sales. I do think sales will increase. I predict we'll see about a 7% jump in the number of sales. This will put us around the 13,200 mark for 2026. Sales will be up, prices will be up, inventory will be up, interest rates will be down, Jerome Powell will be gone in May, it'll be an election year, tariff talk will go away, and I predict interest rates will be in the 5.75 to 6.5 range. I think rates will start out a little bit higher, then as the year goes on, rates will trend a little bit lower. Again, this is just a wild guess. Nobody knows what interest rates will do. What about inflation? I think inflation will be in the 2.8 to 3.4% range. It might run a little bit hotter than we would like. What about unemployment? I think employment will run a little bit higher. I think this will cause the Fed to lower the federal funds rate. Now we're going to talk a little bit of politics here. At this point, it's hard to say what will happen with the midterm elections. I think you'll see the Democrats win back the House in the midterms. I think the Republicans will retain control of the Senate. If the Democrats regain control of the House, that will effectively be the end of the Trump presidency. He'll be a lame duck after this year. We will have a divided government and nothing will be accomplished. That may not be a bad thing. Sometimes the best thing is divided government where nothing gets accomplished. Now, why do I mention politics? Public policy has a big impact on the economy and the housing market. Now, what should a person do? Again, if you're still waiting for the market to crash, you're going to be disappointed. Prices are not heading down. Again, everything is local. In some markets, will prices go down? Absolutely. Remember, real estate is like the weather. It's all local. Will the Omaha real estate market go down? I don't believe so. Omaha will be like Omaha, steady. Omaha has a very stable economy. We are growing. We have some exciting projects just around the corner. Will we have some growing pains? Yes, but I'm still bullish on the Omaha real estate market. Here's the deal. If you're buying a home, plan, don't panic. Is there ever a perfect time to buy? No. Does the perfect home exist? No. Houses are like spouses. The perfect spouse doesn't exist either. My wife can confirm that. As a buyer, you will have more inventory to choose from, and you'll be able to do your inspections because prices will remain elevated. As a buyer, you may have to make some compromises. You might not get the exact area you want to live in. Maybe your home might be a little bit smaller, or maybe you might have to budget for a little bit of updating. If you were waiting for either prices to crash or interest rates to go to 4%, you're going to be disappointed. That's not going to happen. What if you're a seller? What about the sales side? What should you do if you're looking to sell your home? It's time to go back to the basics. You got to price your home correctly. Get it staged, decluttered, have the furnace and AC cleaned and serviced before putting your home on the market. Have your home professionally cleaned prior to going on the market. If you're a seller, be proactive. Make any repairs before putting your home on the market. Are you going to get multiple offers? Will you sell for $15,000, $20,000 over list price? Probably not. You're probably going to sell between 98 to 99% of the list price, and you're probably going to have to make some repairs and or make some concessions. In other words, 2026 will be a normal real estate market with an increase in sales. Prices will go up slightly and interest rates will remain in the low to mid sixes. Those are my predictions. Now tell me what you think in the comment section. What do you see happening in the Omaha real estate market? And if you want to see how my predictions for 2025 turned out, be sure to watch this next video where I react to my predictions for last year. And if you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe to my channel.